Check. 1, 0. Test, test.
Huh? Sound soon?
Well, we've got 45 minutes. Okay. Maybe we should do that before.
Bring some attention to and I don't mind the outcome because the outcome is what it is. I don't want to hide the issue. The outcome is what it is.
Looks like we're drinking it just slightly soft.
Deal with them fairly correctly.
Anyway, you can do some crazy stuff.
Okay, so it's with some relief that I introduce tonight's speakers. Travis Souza and his brothers Adam and Nate have just arrived from LA on foot. And they have been walking for the past month, walking for the past month from LA to San Francisco along the proposed route of the high-speed rail line. And over this month they met a large number of people. And tonight we're going to be talking about some of the personal opinions of those people who are affected by this proposed high-speed rail route. And some of those people include their families. And I think some of the family representatives are here tonight, so I just wanted to welcome you here. So thank you for coming. So with them tonight, the conversation is Harold Fletcher. And Harold Fletcher has joined the sections of the walk, and he's also facilitated this project as part of his Cap Street residency. So please join me in welcoming them.
Thanks, Claire. Just as we were walking into San Francisco today, we started off in San Bruno and walked in. We just were able to have this great conversation, sort of going back and reassessing the various opinions and people that they encountered, and reviewing their positions and the kind of the empathy that we felt for various people, and sort of talking about all of these different positions. So hopefully we'll be able to continue that tonight. And I think the project was never done with the intent of having a conclusion, but instead to sort of have a much closer understanding of what's going on, and to have the empathy of first-hand knowledge of different people's positions and circumstances in relationship to it. So anyway, so we'll now, I'll bring Travis out here.
This was our first morning of editing, and we're looking really fresh and excited. So I had to show that because it changes. And and this is great. And actually, there's another image of me actually sitting with a woman who walked in, and she was like a Yale graduate, and we just got into this big conversation. I thought, my goodness, this is just I just opened a can of worms with this thing, and we realized how much material we were gathering, and how do we sort of edit that and sort of So anyway,
We go right or left on the Caesar Convent?
Left.
most of them were against it.
And you're going to see that a lot with the videos.
We start to really worry. We're like, we're not going to give like a kind of well-rounded presentation of the issues and stuff. It caught us by surprise. I thought it was going to be more mixed. But people right along the line, who were being affected, the majority were against it.
High-speed rail. Last I heard, it's supposed to run from Caltrain and run down the old tracks all the way down.
Do you think most people around here think it's a good idea? They're pretty
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I think it needed to be done a long time.
I have a million options to get from here to LA. I mean, I can drive it, and I just went to Pomona for the Winter Nationals, so, and all I did was just take part in the SFO, jumped on the plane, saw the race, came back on the plane, and just took care of the little rail system we already have back. So wrapped it all up in no time.
I live in a community too.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly.
As someone who has two brothers himself, I'm really interested in the brotherly dynamic. I could imagine my brothers and I walking over almost 500 miles. It'd be a huge trial and tribulation. So I'd be interested to hear how that, and I know you just arrived, but that dynamic is intriguing.
That's gonna be a bumpy shot.
I'm pretty smooth.
No, you're not. Man, with the camera.
What's so cool about it to you?
I don't know, I like these kind of shapes.
Hey, buddy.
Oh. We always felt like we were in a project, but having the sort of family dynamic also, there's something not quite like it. It was a very pleasurable experience. And I think that's important actually to the overall project, is that you do this thing that is a pleasurable, interesting experience, which kind of has this kind of perhaps political side effects, or becomes this kind of moving open forum and things like that.
There were problems in one of the videos with getting across ranch land, and they were very standoffish. There's a great shot of, I think, you sitting out there on the cell phone. How'd you get my number? Oh, well, it's written on the gate. We'll rip that number off. But that was great. But then later, it seems like when you're in the Central Valley, people are coming up and driving up and asking, where you're going, and you're, camping on the fields. But is there a big? Did you get a sense of a big cultural difference?
Oh yeah.
Those two areas in California.
Yeah.
So I say yes.
And I don't really go to LA, so I don't really care. and it being there isn't going to make me go to LA more. So.
Is it like an ideological against LA kind of thing?
I just don't like LA, I've been there, I don't like the vibe there.
Don't want to come back.
And it's smoggy. I live in Oakland, so Oakland is really cool. I feel like nowhere's as cool as Oakland, actually. But I work in San Francisco, I love that stuff, but Oakland is just more space, and it's not as expensive, and people are friendly, I know my neighbors and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm probably not going to go to LA, whether it shows up or not.
The whole title of this whole thing is From Nathan Road. By walking, and I wonder how many different turns and how far off the original plan did. If you were to draw a line from where you started to where you end, what would be the difference from what the original line looked like?
Crazy to think that we just came around that hill. We're just curving around that hill.
Experienced it on a personal level. I left the Central Valley thinking I was escaping it. No offense to my family and friends that come from there. But I left Fresno, as a college student, just wanting to get out. The actual experience of walking into these places was amazing. It was a huge rediscovery of the valley and where I came from, and actually allowed me to be connected to it even more which, as opposed to the disconnection I had cut myself off from it.
As we got into the city, one of the first things that became really apparent was how the freeways that we were walking over and across had impacted the neighborhoods there. You'd see really old houses. houses, like one here, one there, and then a freeway, you know, and then newer houses that sort of built up, and realizing that that neighborhood had gone through this kind of process. And it must have been an incredibly sort of painful one, that there were intact neighborhoods prior to that, but at this point, they I think largely sort of has been forgotten. And I guess that's part of what happens.
I've been in farming all my life. I'm a farm equipment salesman. I deal with a lot of farmers. I would say 98% of my farmers are family owned. We always hear the big corporations. J.G. Boswell, big corporation, big farm. Influence, oh yes, but is everybody like that? No. We have a lot of family-owned farms, 4th, 5th generation, that this thing is going through, and no regard. It would be different if they could pick a line along a border, along the edge of a road, but you have to understand a lot of these are angled through, that'd be like dividing this room at an angle. You can't farm diagonals. It makes it really tough.
Like the montage was really vivid and really beautiful. But I was really most struck, besides the landscape itself and the people's sincerity when they spoke, also the food culture was so fascinating in relationship to the landscape. And when people say ag, for someone from this area, it has this chilling sound. It sounds like oil companies and pesticides, and everything that people were eating had the chill of those pesticides. Like, it really has this kind of numbing effect on, like, even the colors of the food. Everything looks like it's, you know, being forced through this pesticides control. And I just was interested in the way that this train might actually bring, I mean, despite the fact that it's disruptive and it's going against, you know, the current culture, but it might actually bring innovation in terms of, like, being able to just bring in information for older farming practices that are actually much more historical to the area and to the families that are really rooted there, that actually they were, you know, forced to use these huge machines and all these things that have already kind of come in and disrupted, perhaps in a much more like a huge way than just the train alone. So I think that the velocity of that corporate agriculture is kind of a silent factor in the film.
Learn more about this. Thanks all of you for coming in.
I feel like I should give you all a hug. You made it. Hi, you made it. Hello. Welcome to San Francisco.
Oh, thank you.
This is David.
Oh, we've met.
Yeah. Hi. Wow. You look really well. Oh my gosh.
Thanks.